following program is a production of Hōʻike Kauaʻi Community Media.
Aloha, and welcome to this special series of interviews with your Kauai County Council candidates. I'm Mark Perriello, President of the Kauai Chamber of Commerce.
And I'm Lexi Jones, the Vice Chair of Hōʻike Community Television. We're honored to bring you these conversations, giving each candidate the opportunity to share their vision for our island's future.
Today, we'll be speaking with Ross Kagawa, who's eager to share his ideas and plans for our community. These interviews are an important part of our democratic process, giving you the chance to learn more about who's running and why.
Our hope is that these conversations inspire you to engage in the process and to vote. Every voice matters, and your vote is critical in shaping the future of Kauaʻi.
So welcome, Ross. Yeah, let's dive right in.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're glad to have you here. Let's dive right in.
Yes, so please tell our audience about yourself and why you're taking on the kuleana of leadership in our community.
Well, I'm a 1984 graduate of Waimea High School. I like to think we were, successful at that time in sports and academics. And, back then, I think our school, we had about 200, I believe, in each class. So our school had about 900 students maybe at that time. Plantation was still going, but kind of tailing off. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of plantation residents and students during my time in '84. So a lot of history. Of course, that was the roots of our island, right? The plantation and all of the vast hardworking people that were either poor or middle class that lived on the west side. And now that has changed. We don't have as much plantation, but we still have that local roots that are all there. Mm-hmm. I went to University of Hawaii in Manoa, played college baseball there, and just really loved those years. Those years we used to be on K5 public TV, all of our games. So we had some popularity there. Being on the UH baseball team at that time, we were nationally ranked. And
nice. What position?
I was a left fielder.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, so anyway, so I went to UH, graduated in accounting, worked in the CPA field for maybe 5 years or so, and then I decided, maybe accounting, sitting behind a desk, not talking very much to others, besides when doing audits, but I just felt like maybe that wasn't for me. So I went into, I got my degree in special education. And I taught at Chiefis, Kamakahele Middle School for 2 years, and Kapa High School for 18 years, and then at Waimea High School for 3 years. So been through all the sides of the island. Kauai High School with Chiefis, it's kind of like Kauai High, Kapa High, and Waimea High. Had those interactions. So I've been all around, the island as far as my teaching career. Did driver's education for 10 years. So I met tons of kids because everybody wants to get their license, right? Mm-hmm. When they're in high school. So, I did 10 years of driver education at Kaua and I just loved that experience. And, so then I said after, back in 2012, I said, maybe I can help make a difference in running for county council and trying to, make sure that local people and our children have a good opportunity to live here like we did. And 12 years later we're still making sure that can still happen. So I continue to feel like while I feel like I have served and I've worked hard and made a lot of relationships, that I feel like my voice is still relevant, and that I do have the energy and passion more than ever to continue serving the people of Kauai.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. So let's dive into some issues. So Kauai faces a significant challenge in providing affordable and workforce housing, as we all know. As you mentioned, right, a lot of folks, you want to make a future for people here on Kauai, especially local folks, but so many people are leaving because of the high cost of housing. And demand, right, for affordable housing and workforce housing continues to outpace supply, while rising housing costs and the prevalence of off-island investment exacerbate the issue. The community has been exploring various strategies to address these challenges, including increasing supply of affordable housing, providing rental assistance, and supporting community land trusts. Given the ongoing housing crisis on Kauai, what specific strategies would you prioritize to increase housing affordability, and how would you work to implement these strategies as a member of the council?
Well, I think, we need to be more aggressive with the private sector and, have those those regular, I would say, just workforce housing homes that come up. And, currently, I think the county, our programs, as well as Habitat for Humanity, they only focus on those 60% or 80% below median income. Those programs are great and awesome. However, I think the workforce housing is a key problem that is being neglected. And that is just typical market type homes, like such as the one one of the latest ones we had was the D.H. Horton in Honolulu, where, people were complaining like, wow, the prices are like $850,000, for a 3-bedroom. And they were complaining about the advertisements. But if you drive around that Honolulu subdivision, you'll see that many of those residents are all local families, workforce housing families, born and raised Kauai families that purchased those $850,000 homes. And when you look at today's, the latest news, they say, well, I think Kauai's, the average household price is like 1.2 million now. So, really, the 850 is, something that we need more of. And I'm not saying that that would be the floor, but I'm hoping that, if we just have more of those type of subdivisions that, perhaps, between a 700 and, 900 range, we can have, a lot of those type homes that just sell on the market. And like, it's a supply and demand problem that we have. And basic economics. We don't have enough supply. We have too much demand. And that's why you see fixer-uppers selling for over $1 million. Or you see small houses in Kekaha selling for $500,000. So I mean, these are all fixer-uppers now. These are not, so yeah, they're people say, when we talk about those situations, they say monopoly money. Because really, it's just, we have a supply and demand problem. So the highest bidder is winning, those homes, and they have the means to pay, monopoly money type prices for these homes. And, it's concerning. It's really disheartening when, we hear like even Mel, saying that his second grandchild on the way. And, I'm talking about Council Chair proposal, second grandchild away, and they live all the way in El Paso, Texas. And, it just hurts him and his wife that, there isn't better opportunity on Kauai for his daughter to, move back here with the grandkids and her husband. And, and that's just one case. There are many hundreds or thousands of cases and more that are coming along like that, where, the American dream, right, owning a home, they can do it maybe in Vegas. They can do it maybe in Oregon. They can't do it here. And it's really concerning. Our only way out is, I think, we got to look at some of these adjacent ag lands next to existing infrastructure, possibly, look at allowing developers to come in and, build on those houses at market prices. And, I think maybe that will take care of some of the supply demand issue that we have. And, if you get 80% even landing into local families, and maybe 20% going to incoming mainland residents, that's still success, as long as the prices don't inflate to where they're like kukuila type prices. So, as long as like I said, I think local families have the means. Their families are all live here. They can help. Some of them can help them with the down, help them with what have you, co-signing, and it can be done, but we just don't have adequate supply out there, and that is the key issue. So, it's going to take collaboration between the mayor, the council, the our representatives on Oahu at the legislature and our congressional delegation, because this is not only a Kauai problem, it's a Hawaii problem that we have.
Yeah. Well, count the chamber in, right? It's an important issue for us too, right? It affects all of our businesses. And for me personally, right, like I think it's important to preserve the culture of this place, right? And so if local families are moving away, that's changing the way this place sort of is.
Right.
That's so important.
Absolutely. And continuing forward with the question now focus on economic diversification. Kauai's economy has long relied on tourism, which leaves the island vulnerable to economic downturns, as we saw during the pandemic. There's a growing need to diversify the economy to create more resilient and sustainable economic priorities for residents. Potential sectors for diversification include agriculture, technology, healthcare, renewable energy, and the arts. So what is your vision for economic diversification on Kauaʻi?
Well, I mean, one of Kauai Chamber's new members, and they've done a great job of, you guys have just stepped it up big time with the membership that Kauai Chamber has gotten. It's so wide and vast, and such a solid organization that you guys have built under your leadership.
I appreciate it.
Congratulations. But one of them, Alun Farms, I mean, they are just expanding, so much, a lot of the products that they're trying and growing out in Kamakani, Pakala area. Recent talks of acquisition of Kekaha shrimp. I know, I think food resiliency, I mean, when you talk to native Hawaiians, they say, where before all of us came, they say we were raising our own food. We were, food sustainable, and we could do it then. We should be doing it now, where we're not reliant on things being shipped in, and to a certain extent, I mean, as much as possible, we should be, trying to be food sustainable as much as we can. We got, a lot of natural rivers and waterways that were in place by the plantations, and a lot of them still work. So, I think it is possible to expand more growing of food and getting off, reliance on, bringing in, especially produce and things like, I think we can utilize even our wild boar that we have as a meat source. I think we have more people growing cattle, but we need to support that with food processing facility. I know we have Andrades in Kalaheo and we have one in Wailua homesteads, but I think that's not enough. We still ship many of our calves to the mainland as they mature, because we find it cheaper to profit off selling calves than processing the meat here, because we don't have the proper facilities. So, it just would make total more sense if, and even for people from the mainland, right? Like how when we go to Japan and eat Kobe beef, I think, if we can have that in our local restaurants and say, hey, this is some Kauai beef you're eating for dinner, and that's all we're gonna serve on Kauai is local, food. I think, those are the type of directions that we can go, because I think our visitors, our residents, they wanna taste high quality stuff that is raised here and grown here. So I think it'd be that's the no-brainer option is, to expand on what Alun Farms has done, and to expand that even among small local farmers who do good farming at home. Give them opportunity, give them land to expand theirs and become a business. So I think we have all the knowledge right at our fingertips in our local people, and all we need to do is provide them with more opportunity as far as free land and sources to water. And I think again, just working together with all the agencies, I think we got to stop brainstorming great ideas and start making them happen.
All right, there you go. All right, next question. Climate change and environmental sustainability. Kauai is particularly vulnerable to impacts of climate change, including coastal erosion, extreme weather events, and threats to natural habitats. Addressing climate change and promoting environmental sustainability are critical for the island's future. Kauai has explored various strategies, including coastal protection, renewable energy adoption, waste reduction, and sustainable agriculture. How would you address climate change and promote environmental stability on Kauai? And can you describe one specific project that you would champion?
That's a tough one. I think for me, just being born and raised here, I mean, I've seen the signs that climate change is affecting Kauai. If you picture, the drive out to Kekaha, prior to hitting the neighborhood center, I mean, all of that coastline where you have a rock wall that is protecting the main highway. Those used to be, at least like 100 yards out of sand, and then you would have the ocean, and now the water is basically just banging against the rocks now. So this was like in the 80s, or 70s, 80s. I mean, there was like maybe 100 yards of sand, and then you had the water. It was, and maybe on, some tides it would get a little closer, but not to where it is now, where it's just actually right against the highway, and actually, getting close to the homes, Mauka of the highway. So it's scary, and then, so what should we do? Of course, we should accept that it's not going to get better. It's only going to, the trend is it's only going to get worse. So I guess, doing all we can to protect our infrastructure and our homes, and, respecting what's happening, and basing our studies not, 10 years down the line, but maybe 50 years down the line, so that we don't make stupid decisions, right? I don't want to say that word, but, you don't want to spend a lot of money on infrastructure, not respecting the change that's happening. And then when it happens, you'd be like, we just wasted a lot of money, and we could have done something, So those type of decisions, I think just working with the mayor and the council being our voice to always question, hey, are we advocating for the changes that climate change is bringing? And then, how do we do this project respecting, what's happening, and then making smart and wise decisions.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, continuing forward with our modal transportation and traffic congestion, since that's big for everyone's thought process. While visitors contribute to traffic congestion on Kauaʻi, the surge in traffic when schools resume in August underscores the impact of resident commuters on the island's transportation system. In addition to infrastructure improvements, Kauaʻi has been exploring various efforts to reduce traffic congestion, such as expanding bus services, developing safer bike lanes, and encouraging walking through improved sidewalks and pathways. However, our island's rural nature and the dependence on cars is present and unique. What solutions to ease traffic congestion on Kauaʻi resonate most with you?
Well, I think, if you look at the time and effort and money that the state spent on the Kapa improvements by Wailua Bridge going into Kapa Town, that has had tremendous, success. The traffic is far more improved from the bypass through the bridges, and it flows through Lihue pretty good even on peak times. There are occasions when it's a little slow, but it's not nearly as bad as Oahu. So I think taking some of that knowledge, applying that to the west side traffic now, perhaps we can ease congestion by improvements to the Kalaheo traffic light area, perhaps a large, beautiful functioning roundabout, maybe an option, but something that will improve it, because right now that area is getting really bad. And then the tunnel of trees area in Koloa also, there are options to, I believe that the state can pursue to have the Kipu bypass opened up from that'll take traffic from Koloa to Puhi, and so it's a one-lane Cane Hall Road that I believe can be an option for one-way traffic to ease the tunnel of trees traffic. But if you don't do one, then there's no sense you do the other. So we need to address the Kalaheo one, and then while we're addressing the Kalaheo one, let's figure out a way to utilize that one-lane road to take off the Koloa traffic from adding to the congestion on the West Highway. So I think there are some options. The other option, I wave signs twice a week. I've religiously been saying I'm going to work harder than I did the last election. So I hold on the east side one time a week. I hold for the west side traffic one time a week by Puhi, and there is an enormous amount of visitors driving on the roads. So I think, what can we do? Again, we need the private sector to figure out a way that'll make it. It's not cheap, right, for them to rent these cars. There has to be a way that we can get people going in the common areas, either on a shuttle or Uber type or something. There is a profitable business out there for, local residents. But, again, I think government needs to come up with a suggestion or a way of helping them to get started. And I mean, if we can get some of those visitor cars, off the road, it'll definitely help as well. And I mean, I would say, I don't want to say 50%, but a number close to 50%, I believe, is visitors on the road as I'm waving. Not to be like expert, like judge on it, but you can kind of tell,
For sure.
you can kind of tell, like they're really friendly when they wave at you on the side, and it's great. The thing about our visitors is, they're just enjoying what, if we lived in the mainland, turn the shoes around. If we lived on the mainland and we had an opportunity to go and relax and bring our family, Kauai would be the perfect spot. So we can't hold it against our visitors. We've got to respect them and treat them well, because they're really, right now, they're most important to us to survive on Kauai. So.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks.
So you talked a little bit about food sustainability, but our next question is actually about agriculture and food sustainability, so it might be a good chance to add anything you haven't said. But agriculture has the potential to play a larger role in Kauai's economy by providing local food, preserving open space, and contributing to economic diversification. However, challenges such as limited infrastructure, general disinterest from younger generations, and the need for startup financing persist. What is your vision for a thriving agricultural sector on Kauai, and what actions would you prioritize on the county council to support your vision?
Man, it's so hard. Like, I just think I think we need to look closer at, like, success of our farmers markets, and see what products we have being sold there consistently from our local farmers, and helping them to expand, or asking them, what can we do to expand what you're growing, so that we can rely less on the mainland sending it, or even other islands sending it. If we can grow it here, I mean, to feed our people and our families, we're so much more sustainable. We're like one bad hurricane away from our shipping lanes being stopped for a while. I mean, it'll be disastrous if we don't improve in that area. So I think, just again, a lot of farmers, they know how to farm. They know how to teach, how to farm. I mean, I've seen successful programs like Waimea High School, Greg Harding. What he did back there just blew me away. The kind of stuff he grew with the kids. And, the kids, I think now, the students now, they're kind of, a lot of the local ones are like being re-energized as far as their past. And, especially those of Hawaiian descent, they're really looking back to their culture, and more so than their parents. I think their parents are busy working, and now, like, they're kind of thinking back, like, how can we go back to old Hawaii days as far as things like food and taro and kalo, and and appreciating the old Hawaiian ways, and and how hard it is, but how rewarding it is, to plant and raise kalo. So, and I think those, we have the energy, we have the knowledge, but I think we need our county government to maybe help lead the way to do it. We cannot just talk about it. I mean, let's actually put it in play, because it's a no-brainer. If we can become more food sustainable, it'll put Kauai on the top of all islands.
And just to add, if the Keiki are feeling so empowered to have these practices, do you think that it could boost this sort of agriculture, food sustainability, if the Keiki or the young adults are feeling more empowered to do that?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I mean, our time, I mean, we had an egg program, but we were already, our parents and our friends' parents were all like working for the plantation. So, I don't think when we were going to school we talked much about importance of egg and stuff, because that's just the way we lived, I think. But now, more than ever, I think the new generation, and I have grandkids too, and I had kids that are now young parents, but we kind of like I would say baby them a little bit. But I think now we got to go back to showing them the reward of working hard, getting your hands dirty, and seeing what the process is, because not everybody's going to be a doctor, not everybody going to be a CPA. Not we need people that will just love doing something sustainable, be a small business owner that can grow food and be successful in those ways, you know. I think we get caught up sometimes that, oh, we gotta, you know, get our kids to be a certain line, but, you know, sometimes something as basic as growing food can be a great career and can be more impactful to the island than, you know, other professions. So I think, you know, it's something that I think the high schools try to push. They try to push, you know, all the time, but, you know, when you get teachers leaving like that, sometimes it slows down the program again, and that's kind of what happened at Waimea. But
Absolutely.
yeah.
All right, well, continuing forward, another sort of pivot in our destination management. Kauaʻi Destination Management Action Plan, DMAP, aims to manage tourism in a way that benefits residents and visitors alike by promoting sustainable practices and enhancing community engagement. What are your top 1 or 2 priorities for tourism on Kauaʻi, especially as they relate to DMAP?
Well, I don't know. I have don't have much, you know, knowledge on, you know, suggestions that I would have really. I just think that I do have a urge to, again, it's a state function, but I do have an urge to want the harbors to do some improvements so that going forward, heading into the future, we have better facilities to, you know, help with our tour activities that we use. Like, you know, Kauaʻi, like Kikiola in Kekaha, that's, you know, basically that's just a residential fisherman, you know, going out farming, fishing type of harbor. But, you know, in that they've authorized, I think, 25 tour boats to go out of there, you know, daily with multiple boats. And that harbor is just not made, you know, to, well, it wasn't made. It does do it every day now, but it wasn't made to do that. It wasn't planned out with the parking, with the bathroom facility. So I like to see upgrades in that area so that, you know, we have facilities that match our uses. And I think we even allow, we allow a couple out of Anini, and, you know, it's really like, again, just makeshift. Like, it's not meant for the activities that, you know, could possibly be there or be expanded. Like, I just went to Kona Boat Harbor, and that facility, I mean, is just the amount of money the state put into that is just beautiful. It's a lot of parking. It's, you know, it promotes local fishermen having an easy time, you know, going out and fishing and having, you know, I guess, successful fishing practices. And again, fishing is part of our food sustainability. So, you know, having resources to support our local fishermen is important for me.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
So last question.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience today?
No, I mean, I want to thank Hōʻike for all the service you guys do. We don't thank you guys enough. And just always being there for the community, free, you know, of cost, to the viewers, and just keeping local politics in mind, local events in mind, and then the chamber again. You guys just amazing organization, and you guys are been so good to the community, and I just thank you guys, because without you guys we wouldn't be as where we are. So mahalo.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mahalo nui loa for joining us today. We hope these interviews give you clearer understanding of the candidates and the future they envision for our beloved island.
We'd like to take, well, first, thank you, Ross, again.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank
you.
for
Thanks for
joining us.
having me.
Yeah, right.
You guys are great.
Yeah, and we'd like to also take a moment to acknowledge the incredible support that made this series possible.
Oh, first, a big thank you to our Hawaii Crop Improvement Association.
We also want to express our gratitude to the Hawaii Lodging and Tourism Association, Kauaʻi chapter, for their continued partnership.
A special thanks goes out to Hōʻike Community Television for providing the platform for these important conversations.
We're also grateful to Kauai Island Utility Cooperative for their unwavering support of our community initiatives.
We could not have done this without the Kekaha Agricultural Association, who have been champions for local engagement.
And thank you to KKCR, Kauai Community Radio, for helping us reach more of you across the island.
And last but certainly not least, a heartfelt thanks goes to Meridian Pacific for their generous support of this effort.
Remember, your voice matters. Make it heard. Be sure to vote in the upcoming election and help shape the future of our beautiful island.
Thank you again for watching. Aloha and a hui hou.